when I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
Get my head up.
I'm from South Carolina, so I just...
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Moss?
Oh, my heart,
Happy 20th anniversary.
my heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? Done.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's a
The doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover, in it to win it for the long haul, baby. Now, this show here, let me tell you, get your notebook, get your ink pen. You want to take some notes because we're going to do our best to give you some information, especially if you run a small business here in the state of Maryland. What I guarantee is that you will learn something here today that you didn't know. Now, in my limited time being in business, which has been pretty much all of my life, growing up in a family business, there's some basics that we learn. We call it bail. Yeah, just like a person on the street that decides to break law on a regular basis or get in trouble with the police. There's a thing called bail that bails you out of jail. Well, not to be extreme, but business is extreme. You also need bail if you're in business. And what does that bail stand for? B-A-I-L. You need a banker, you need an accountant, you need an insurance person, and you need a lawyer. Well, we don't have all of those areas covered, but I guarantee you the people who will come on this show today do have various aspects of that available. So first up will be Mr. Edsel M. Brown, Jr., attorney at law, but he is also the chairman of the board of the Southern Maryland, is it Southern Maryland Black Chamber?
Minority Chamber.
Southern Maryland Minority Chamber of Commerce. And he hails, well, you're not originally from Charles County, are you?
I'm a Jersey guy.
He's from Jersey. You got a Jersey guy. Okay, he's from Jersey. Edsel Brown. How you doing, counselor?
Great. How about yourself?
Man, I'm grateful. This is the beginning of the year. It's the 24th day of January. And one of the things that we haven't gotten to that was very much on the agenda is to speak to the heart of being in business, to the people who are out there, entrepreneurs. Tax season is coming up, fiscal year, a whole bunch of terms we don't understand. Some things change, some things don't change. Help us out, Edsel Brown, Jr., attorney at law, and a civil rights activist.
All right. Let me jump right in here. You've hit the nail on the head. It's a new year. I know a lot of small business owners, took a little reprieve toward the end of the year to collect themselves after running hard, earlier in the year. And also, I'm sure we have a lot of people out there that are probably starting a business now. They're pumped up. It's a new year. They've been putting off starting a business, and they're moving forward to do that, right now, or have already done so, and they're learning the ropes as they go. One thing I like to outline, as you indicated, I'm involved with the Southern Maryland Minority Chamber of Commerce, and I just like to touch base on why it's important to join a Chamber of Commerce. Again, whether you're a new business or a business that's been in, operational for some time, there are great advantages for joining a chamber. And of course, some people, regardless of the benefits or not, aren't going to do it. But let me at least just point out some of the important reasons why a small business owner should join a chamber. And I should also add that even if you're not a small business owner, it still may be advantageous for you to join a chamber because you may have other aspirations that may be served by participating with the chamber, the business organization. Well, the obvious thing that jumps out is the networking opportunities. You join a chamber of commerce and you're going to be pooling with other like-minded individuals that are involved in business and have a lot of the same interests and concerns that you have. So you're going to get involved in a community of like-minded people that are looking to do similar things. And obviously the reason why you're in business is what? To make money. So a way of making money is networking with other businesses, and you may share ideas and maybe even barter services between one another. And again, you want to help promote other small businesses that are involved in the Chamber of Commerce, because you help someone else out. When they have somebody to come into their business or they come into their network, they're going to think of you because you've referred clients to them.
That's how it should work.
Yeah, that's the way it should work. You're right. And to be perfectly honest, for those who really, use their heads, that's the way it absolutely should work. Because again, if you just try to be a sponge and soak up everything that comes your way, sooner or later, other individuals are going to see that you're not referring anybody to them, and they're going to drop you off the end of the cliff.
So you're hitting on, and we can get to this a little later. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing you hit on the spiritual aspect, the karma, the cosmic, the stuff that's beyond what we can see. Are you a Christian?
Yes.
So faith plays a role in this business thing.
A huge role. I can't tell you how many times, myself included, especially when you're first starting your business, how that it takes that faith to carry you through, because it's very rare that a business starts off flying as opposed to scratching and crawling and looking in the mirror and praying above to give you the strength to continue.
Lord have mercy. How long have you been in business for yourself, Edsel, as an attorney? Because a lot of people don't look at attorneys as entrepreneurs, but I can't see you any other way. You go to school, you get this law degree, it's up on your wall, your family came to your graduation, so, but it don't mean jack crap unless you put that joint to work and you get your first client. But in all of that, yes, you're a lawyer, but you are also an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. And let me smile while you said that, because I am an entrepreneur at heart. And, those of you that are entrepreneurs or aspiring to be entrepreneurs march to a different drummer. Because when you become an entrepreneur, even as an attorney, you trade in a 9-to-5 if you've had a 9-to-5, and you trade one job in for about 15 jobs. And you trade in, working a 9-to-5 to working from 7 to midnight. So it's a big difference. Now, for myself, I'll have to laugh because when I became an entrepreneur when I was working with the Small Business Administration. I started my practice on the side while I was working there. And, when I left the SBA, that's when I started doing my law practice full time. But again, it's still an adjustment, because when you go to law school, you train to be a lawyer. You don't train for the business side of things. You're training in terms of the expertise to provide legal guidance, not operating a business. So that's a flaw that a lot of attorneys have now, even though a lot of law schools are starting to offer courses on the business side of operating your law practice. But it does no good to be the most intelligent and capable attorney in the world but number one, nobody knows about you. And number two, you don't have good business sense and your business flops because you can't operate a business.
So I'm hearing you say indirectly, a lawyer who is trained to practice law needs a mentor, not so much for the law aspect, but for how to teach him or her how to run a business, how to run that law firm effectively, intelligently, not get in legal trouble. I mean, I go back to when, and I won't call his name, but we had a police commissioner here in Baltimore. He got locked up for not filing his taxes. Marilyn Mosby, she's in trouble right now for some legal stuff with a mortgage, 2 mortgages, and 7 different false statements. But in all of that, and yes, she had a 9 to 5, but taxes, I guess I'm just getting to that thing. Wesley Snipes, taxes. It's not a game. Those 3-letter people don't play, huh?
Oh no, you got to be on your P's and Q's, no matter, what your vocation is, the expertise that you bring to the table. Now, I won't say it's funny, but it's interesting that you bring that up, because what can happen also is somebody could do their taxes and do everything, just about everything correctly. But if you're involved in certain professions, you have to keep up with your licenses, and there may be regulatory issues that you have to keep up with. And you may honestly be doing the best that you can. But again, I go back to what I said earlier about trading in your 9 to 5 for, 7 to 12, and you have 15 jobs instead of 1. And having those 15 jobs, you can't be a master to everything. So something could slip into the cracks that you don't even notice that you should have addressed. And you can get it, you can go to jail or get in trouble or lose your business over something that you didn't even know about because you spread yourself too thin.
That's a part of Marilyn Mosby's defense.
Right.
That's what a lawyer's saying, that she's not an expert at everything. And that's where the husband comes into play. And this is a mayoral election year where Nick Mosby is running for city council president. He's got Zeke Cohen and Shannon Sneed breathing down his neck. And do we bite off too much too soon?
That definitely can be a possibility. That's why, I know that's not the subject of our discussion, but it should. Well, I will say it is part of it. You got to have a good business plan going in. You shouldn't just leap into your business. You want to make sure that you're standing on solid ground when you start, because once you start, as we've been discussing already, you're going to be so busy doing different things, and whatever product or service you offer, you're going to be trying to polish up and do the best job that you can to provide the public and your customers that particular service or product. But those customers aren't going to see all the work that goes behind the scenes to get to that point, and all the things that you have to do to keep the doors open for you to provide that service. So you really have to take care in starting your business and having the best platform that you can to move forward, and try to dot all the I's and all the T's moving forward, and then garner the assistance that you need to keep it that way, which is another good reason for joining the chamber, because the chamber offers resources and the networking opportunities to interact with other people, other professionals that may be providing a lot of the services that you need.
All right, so we're about to get real now. We've just been joined by CPA Ken Mars. He's been giving me information and advice for as long as I've been in business. Wonderful guy. Now, Ken Edsel is an attorney. He's also chair of the board of the Southern Maryland Minority Chamber of Commerce. But before we get to you, Ken, I just want to ask you now, Edsel, you have 2 daughters.
Yes.
Okay, you have 2 beautiful daughters and a beautiful wife. I want to know, did you break the law and put your daughters to work as soon as they were old enough to read and write?
No. No, I can. They're both very hardworking, but no. And I'll also add that they're both entrepreneurs as well.
So how did you break them in now? Come on, spill the beans. Are there child welfare laws at stake here?
Listen, they had it easy.
They put me to work as soon as I was old enough to answer the phone. Good evening, Glover's Funeral Chapel. May I help you? And if my parents were alive, I'd give them invoice right now.
Mm-hmm.
I will say they were more than willing to help out, but no, there was no slave wages.
Okay. So Ken Mars, we've started the discussion without you. We're glad that you've joined us. And actually, Edzo, this whole idea came as a result of a conversation with Ken. And Ken, we've only expanded it to include Edzo.
Wonderful.
We have also Nicole Kirby join us to talk about marketing. But I view you all as quintessential examples of people that I need to stay in touch with. Edzo, just to stay abreast of what's happening. He covers Baltimore, but he also covers Prince George's County, Charles County. It's my job to know what's going on in the state, and plus he's involved in the civil rights movement, NAACP, and what have you. Now, Ken, you and I, we have roots that go back, shucks, almost 30 years.
Yeah. 30 years.
Black professional men.
Yeah,
welcome to the show, Ken. Tell them who you are.
Thank you. Glad to be here, Donnie. Thanks for inviting me. Sorry I came in a bit late. Thank you, Donnie, for getting me the link about 5 minutes before showtime. I appreciate that.
It was a busy night. We had to, okay. So tell them what you do, Ken. Dry snitching on me early in the morning.
I am snitching on you early, man. Yeah, Donnie and I are good friends. We go back to, our days at Black Professional Men, the early 90s. At that time, I was a brand new accountant looking to pass the CPA exam. And shortly after I met Donnie, I think I passed the CPA exam and worked with a small local firm here in town. And for the past 20 years, I have been in private practice, practicing accounting, providing income tax services and corporate services to my corporate clients, income tax services, financial statement compilations, audit and reviews, full range of accounting services, small staff, dedicated staff of folks who are able to help me. But just enjoy helping small business owners and individuals with their accounting and tax needs. So, hey, man, glad to be here.
Three top issues that people need to be aware of.
3 top issues. The big issue for us right now coming out of this pandemic is that so many people have fallen behind in their tax filings. And the common thread that I hear when I meet with folks who are falling behind with their tax filings is that people are ashamed to say that they have fallen behind. And it's not unusual. I'm seeing it quite a bit. So I want to encourage folks not to feel ashamed, but to pick up the phone and make that call to their tax preparer or go ahead and start the process to get themselves caught up, because there are so many people across the country, across the state, across the city, across your listening audience who, because of the pandemic and all that it brought to bear, have fallen behind.
You are like the dentist of the business profession. Nobody wants to go to the dentist. Nobody wants them people drilling in their mouth. Hey, Richard, welcome to the show. M&T Bank in the house.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. But Ken, nobody wants to come to you. Nobody even wants to think about you at all. I mean, you're the dentist of the business profession. But we got to come to you. Otherwise, our teeth fall out.
I'm a necessary evil.
Ugh!
My wife calls me a necessary evil. I'm the most popular guy at parties from February 1st to April 15th. After that, I fall off the table. I get no more invitations to no more parties. But that's okay. That's okay. That's my life, and I just have learned to live with it.
Edzo, have you ever fallen behind? I've fallen behind. Oh my God! And then you get one of them letters from the 3-letter people. Oh my God! And then they are relentless. They gonna pull up some stuff about when I was waiting tables in the 90s. It's like, really? Your bank
Can't
card
go
don't
in.
work no more. Really?
Yeah,
That's petrifying, man.
it is. It is. But don't be afraid. Don't feel like you are alone. A lot of those letters are going out across the country right now.
Okay, how Donald Trump get around paying taxes? That's a question for you, Ken Mars, CPA.
I've gotten that question more than once. You're not the first one to ask me that question. And I've studied it, I've researched it. My answer to that question is I don't know.
Well, I appreciate people who say they don't know. Well, I heard this thing that if you get a trust, and you got to get 2 trusts, you get one for your nonprofit, one for your for-profit, and then you just start moving money around.
You know,
I found it on YouTube University.
I'm not in the tax avoidance business. So that sounds like a tax avoidance scheme. I hate to use that word, but I'm gonna use the word scheme. So I don't have to say I don't know. That's my answer. That's my answer.
Richard, we want to welcome you to the conversation. This show is about helping businesses start 2024 off on the right foot. Edsel Brown is an attorney at law. He's also chairman of the Southern Maryland Minority Chamber of Commerce. Kudos to Miss Doris Kamenek Spencer. She is a queen here in the state of Maryland. She runs things. She's a boss, but she's entrusted Edsel and others to carry the ball forward, and that's a beautiful thing. Ken Mars, CPA, I've known him for about 30 years. He's never told me wrong, and I have not gone to prison because of not paying taxes. And then you came by way of Jim Peterson, my banker, and big ups to M&T Bank. No complaints. I mean, everybody, goes through stuff, but I've had no problems with M&T, and Jim is quite a salesperson and quite the representative of M&T. So we welcome you to the show, and we offer you the opportunity to pour into our businesses.
Yeah, man. First of all, huge shout out to you. Jim introduced me to your show, and I did a little bit of research before I joined to make sure I wouldn't get sucked into anything crazy, Sometimes. But big shout out to Jim, man. Jim, whatever Jim wants me to do, I do 100%. Jim makes sure that everyone in Baltimore is doing well. I think he should be the face of Baltimore. Honestly, this man looks out for these business owners more than these business owners know. So big shout out to Jim. And pretty much I'm just here so I can represent the business owners, man. I'm like, I think of myself as a lawyer and to these businesses, to the bank. I'm basically the lawyer to these business owners, to the bank, and the bank is the judge, depending on whether or not you guys get your funds or not needed to, do out your everyday needs for your business.
What is a common scenario that you run across with small business owners in the beginning of the year? Give me 3 things that we don't know that we should know.
Well, when we're talking about small business, right, depending on how long you guys been in business for, I'll say if you've been in business for 3 years or less, you guys should have a business plan, 100%. A lot of people don't have a business plan, and they think a business plan is like 2-3 pages. That's not it at all. Your business plan needs to be very detailed, and it should have projections on there if you guys aren't seeing any revenue. And those projections should be over the course of 3 to 5 years, month over month, and that should include expenses and stuff like that. And we have many different resources within the Baltimore area that can help you guys get this business plan as well. We have the SBA, the SBDC, and a multitude of different other CDFIs that help out on business owners as well complete their business plan. So that's number 1. Number 2, just because you guys are in business does not mean you guys are going to get funds from the bank. I just have to put it like that, man. Like, people come to me and they think that just because they have an LLC that they're entitled to X amount of dollars because they saw it on Instagram University, YouTube University, and that's not how it works at all. And the last one is, tell your banker the truth, man. I'm not here to arrest you, man. Like I said, I'm your lawyer. Whatever you don't tell me, I can't defend that or sell that to my bank. At the end of the day, the financials are going to tell a story. So whether you tell me, your financials are going to tell me. And then I'm going to have to come back to you, ask the question, how come you didn't tell me that? There's no way you can like hide anything, because if I miss it, guess what? My underwriter's gonna pick it up and it's gonna come back to me and ask me questions. And one thing I hate doing is looking dumb in front of my underwriters, and I won't do it. So those are probably the top 3 things. Tell your banker everything so we can see the full picture, and then we can better help you understand that, hey, if I don't think it can happen on the M&T side, I know a bunch of different CDFIs that can possibly get this funding that you need, but it may come at a higher interest rate. But sometimes you need that in order to get your business across the waters.
CDFI. Let's not assume that people know what these abbreviations stand for. This stands for.
Oh, that's a good. 1 second, guys. I say it so many times I almost forgot what it stands for. But CDFI is basically a community development financial institution. So they work. I don't want to say they work like a bank, but essentially they kind of are. They help give out funds to our small business owners that the banks normally wouldn't give funds to, due to they didn't meet their criteria or something like that. So a huge shout out to MMG, Moravian Management Group. I sent a bunch of clients there. They help out people within across Maryland for the most part.
That's Stanley Tucker's shop. Now he want to know everything about you. He want to know where you go to the strip club. He want to know who your wife is, who your girlfriend is. He want to know if you buy lotto tickets. He want to know if you drink too much. Stanley Tucker want to know everything about you. He's like your priest, your pope, your imam, and your preacher, and he can count.
100%, 100%. He's gonna make sure you telling him the full picture. He's gonna make sure you're telling him the full picture, right? And another one else is FSC First over in Baltimore as well. They do a phenomenal job as well, and helping out people as well. So big shout out to those two. Those are the main 2 that I refer clients to.
Stanley Tucker has an important job. He's managing Miss Bidfa, correct?
Honestly, I don't know the details between all that, so I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, Miss Bidfa, and I just want to get the name of it right. Miss Bidfa. I think it's Maryland Small Business Development Financing Authority, and they promote visibility and expansion among small businesses here in Maryland. So, Edsel, can you bring what we've talked about together 30 minutes into the program? What are we saying to our small businesses? We've had an accountant, a banker, you're a lawyer, you're also chairman of the Southern Maryland Chamber. What is the prognosis for small business in Maryland? How about that, Edsel?
Well, I think it depends upon, what type of business you're in and, what you bring to the table in terms of your business itself. I don't think, you can make a blanket statement. Each business is different, but I guess the common thread, per our conversation, is that you really need to tap into other professionals to make your business successful, because you may be knowledgeable, but you can't know everything. And more importantly, you're not going to have the time to be able to do everything that you need to do. One thing that I just want to point about in terms of what Richard said is that, this happens a lot of times with a lot of our chamber members. They talk, we'll have a speaker in, and they'll hear about, what you need to do to get a loan as he's outlined. But probably one of the most important things is you need to establish a relationship with your banker before you need the money. You don't go in when you need the money on bended knee. You need to already have a relationship. So then, your banker already knows you. You have an ongoing relationship, and it makes the transition a lot smoother. And I will say, in terms of our colleague Kenneth, one of my best friends going back to college is a CPA. So he stays on me. So that's why I would never be late with my taxes. He hounds me. But it's very important to have all of these professionals as I would say the boat leaves the dock as a business owner. And if you're a current business owner, you need to take heed. And if you're not on top of the professionals that are here and others that you do need, you need to get them on board. And as I said earlier, the chamber is a good platform to interact with other professionals. And like I said, you'll develop friendships and you may trade services. Ken's a CPA, I'm an attorney. I need my taxes done. he may need some agreements done or some non-disclosure agreements or trademark or something, so we could barter services. But again, the bottom line in business period is relationships.
Ken, your thoughts?
I agree with everything that your guests are saying today, Donnie. They're right on point. But I want to add that I think this is a great time for folks to start a small business if you have the desire to be a business owner. As the economy opens up, coming out of this pandemic, as people are getting more, are agreeing to go out more and to engage with each other more, I think now is a great time to lay out a business plan, as our banker recommended. Speak with your attorney and speak with your accountant and your insurance agent and a marketing professional as well. I would add to that mix, and to lay the groundwork to get a business off the ground at this time, and even those existing businesses to reboot coming out of this pandemic. People were asleep. It was a dormant time for a lot of us, but now people are waking up. Business opportunities are waking up and emerging. So I think we are living in a great time.
Ken, you don't think that this is too racist a country, too racist a state of Maryland, even though we have a black governor? You don't buy into that black people are victim mentality. They're out to get us. The white people this, the white people that. You're not buying that, Ken Morris, CPA?
Yeah, I bought that, but I returned that. I put that back on the shelf. Everything that you said is true, man. You know, it's the cards are stacked against us, but in spite of all of that, if you are determined, if you have a good business plan, if you have a good accountant, you have a good attorney and a good banker, if you have those vehicles in place, you can beat the odds. And I'm here to let you know that the odds are stacked against us, but they are not insurmountable. The chances of failure are there, but if you don't try, Donnie, you'll never know. And I think that not knowing is worse than failing. And I've faced failures. Some of the guys who are here on this line that have all faced failures and have learned how to overcome. The key to success is overcoming.
We've been giving these Black Wall Street Awards away since 2011. Over 2,500 in 9 cities. And it's for that very reason you said. My dad said to me, he was a funeral director, Richard. Business was dead. I grew up. Nobody gets out alive. Anyway, he said to me, when I first went into business, I said, Daddy, I ain't getting no business. He said, son, you got to beat your drum. And it's about 2 weeks later because I'm antsy. I mean, I got a couple little ads. Ray Haysbury bought an ad, but damn, that's just $100. I need much more than that. I went back to him. I said, Daddy, I've been beating my drum and I ain't getting no business. And he said, son, you got to beat your drum harder. But he also said to me, he said, Donnie, you got to get out there and try. He said, if you get out there and try, I'll never forget this. I want you to hear me, Richard. He said, if you get out there and try, somebody might see you and they might even help you. But you will never know if you never try. So, Ken, I absolutely agree with that. And that's why we give away these awards, just to drop a little bit of encouragement. Because as you know, I wrote this book about Black Wall Street. And those people, they were doing it. They didn't have CPAs. They didn't have Edsel Brown. They didn't have Richard Ojuri. They were shooting from the hip for real. And then
real quick, Donnie, can I tell you a quick story real quick?
Yes.
I was a student at Morgan State University, taking my income tax accounting course. And first semester, I was studying hard and took the first test, failed the first test, got a D on that first test. Took that test back into the instructor to talk with him about my test results. I showed him my paper. He looked at the paper. He looked back up at me. He looked down at the paper and looked back up to me and said, Mr. Morris, you got to study harder. He said, Mr. Morris, you got to study harder. And that's what I did, Donnie. I put the blinders on. I put my head down and I studied harder and turn that D into an A. And here we are, man, almost 40, 35 years later. But that was a hurdle that I had to overcome.
Well, I tell you, I took economics and I realized real quick that I didn't like economics. And accounting, I found that even more baffling because where you're supposed to be adding is say you subtract, and where you're supposed to be subtracting,
Right.
you're supposed to be adding. And for
Right.
me, I understood algebra and algebra 2, but that accounting thing, that was just like wacko. Okay, Richard, now your last name is Ojori. Does that make you Nigerian?
100%. I'm Nigerian.
Are you Yoruba, Igbo, Eda, Eko, or Hausa?
I'm Yoruba.
Yoruba, Oludumare. Okay, all right. So a lot of us African Americans probably have Yoruba roots and we don't know it. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so here's a question for you, Richard. How do you know that a bank is good for you? What are 3 things you look at to know if a bank deserves your business? And I got to tell you, just put Jim Peterson out front because he's the best PR person a bank could have. And for me, particularly, because he ran a business. That's why I listen to what he says. He ran a business. It's nothing like going to somebody and they don't know anything about running a business. Kind of like why a lot of people get mad at the city of Baltimore because these employees down there, they act like they don't know you down there to get your damn check. And all they got to do is move it from there to there, but they holding up your money. That lady, like the lady down there feeding all of the homeless people in the city, like piecemealing her money. Give her damn money. It's nothing like when an employee is playing with an entrepreneur's money. That is not good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ways that you should know whether your bank is for you or not is interview multiple banks. That's the one thing about it. You know, banks are a free resource, essentially. Let me say essentially, they're a free resource. You can go into any of our branches and talk to any one of our bankers and request to speak with someone like me, a commercial business banker here at M&T Bank. And with one of the red flags I'll say is, I'm going to tell you guys red flags and green flags. One of the red flags, that they're too salesy, it's a little bit of a red flag. You kind of want to look for an advisor in a sense. What does your business need? You know, I'm not just giving you guys loans, giving you guys debt just to give you guys debt. Because at the end of the day, I'm in a sales role. I'm not going to lie. I am in a sales role. I have a sales goal to meet every single year. So I don't let anybody sit here and tell you that what we're doing is not sales. It's sales 100%. But there's an advisory piece of it, which helps you get to your sales goal. So that's number one. Number 2 should be, make sure that when you are talking to your bank, that you ask them questions, they're honest with you. Sometimes I tell my clients, I don't know. I love that I don't know word, because in banking and in credit, everything is different. Everything varies. No business is the same. You may have seen a lot of similar situations, but nothing is the same. So I say I don't know a lot, and I have to get back to it. And not to just shout out M&T Bank because I work at M&T Bank. Well, one of the things that I love about my company is I have partners. Like, I have a meeting today at 2:00. I'm going to go meet with one of our local business owners in the Lanham area, and I'm bringing my regional, my merchant partner, and my treasury and my branch partner with me. Not a lot of banks can do that. You're going to get three to 4 different people on your team. I'm going to be your main point of contact, but listen, I'm not 100% sure on what merchant detail. I can tell you the broad over scheme, but I have a partner that knows the details. Same thing with treasury. Same thing with the retail flow. So that's the good thing about it, is if I don't know, I have a group of people that know what they're talking about, and I can get you back that answer. Another thing you want to look for is how responsive is your banker. You know, if you send an email out to somebody, at the end of the day, we are all entrepreneurs. You guys run businesses. Sometimes you guys need to pick up the phone and call somebody directly. You guys don't need to pick up a call, a 1-800 number. All my clients have my number, and they text me and they call me whenever they need me. Sometimes I'm not going to sit here and lie. I may not answer all the time, but I'm going to get back to you within a day or within that same day, because guess what? I saw my phone. Everybody has a phone on them. So you're not going to sit here. I don't let none of my clients sit here and call a 1-800 number. Never. Because at the end of the day, if that was the case, you can go to any one of our financial institutions. I tell people all the time, all financial institutions are similar. We are very similar. What separates us is the people that you bank with. Your banker separates you. So you have to interview many different bankers to know which one fits for you. And I'm very personable with all my clients. They call me. I don't even give them any 1-800 number. You call me, and I call the 1-800 number, and I figure out your problems. And that's pretty much what what you should know. If they're too salesy, red flag. If they are truthful in their answers, green flag. And also, if how responsive are they? That's what you should be looking for. You want a responsive banker, because if you have a problem within your business, you can't wait 3 to 4 business days. You need that answer right now. So yeah, those are my 3 takeaways for how to know whether or not you have a good banker or not.
Okay, here's another question. Sliding into the personal is because man, there's so many black women in real estate. I mean, it's like every other Facebook black woman is a real estate agent, and it's like, damn, it's like the Palestinian. How they keep dropping bombs. It's like, well, damn, what is left to blow up? So you got all of these black women, especially in Georgia. Oh my God, Georgia got more black women in real estate. It's like, where do they all get their customers from? Okay, so when it comes to banks, is this a good time to buy a house?
Honestly, and this is why I tell you guys to have a good banker. I don't know. I'm not a mortgage banker. I only handle businesses and commercial businesses. I honestly don't know. What I do know is I do know mortgage rates are going down a little bit, but I don't know how stable that is. I just don't know at all. I can't give you guys too much details.
Is Biden good for the economy?
Again, I'm not into politics. I'm not into, I don't know. I just know everyone's entitled to their own political agreement. And pretty much, I have no idea on that. It depends on what everyone wants out of the economy.
Well, let me go to the accountant before we bring up Nicole Kirby. Ken Mars, what's it like? Is this a good time to buy a house?
It's always a good time to buy a house, because what buying a house does for you, it gives you stability with your living situation, but it also helps to increase your net worth. Real estate is one of the few commodities that consistently increases in value. So if there is a mortgage involved, continue to pay down that mortgage. The value of your home increases, the value of your mortgage decreases, and that difference between the value of your home and the balance of your mortgage is your equity, is your net worth. And that's how you grow wealth for yourself and for your family. So, yeah.
Okay. One last question. We're going to slide to Edzo, then to Nicole. Edzo, I mentioned earlier about different trusts. Now, Nicole, just so you know, Edzo Brown is attorney at law. He's also chairman of the Southern Maryland Minority Chamber of Commerce, and he's a civil rights activist with the NAACP. Ken Mars is a CPA. We've been affiliated with Black professional men for the past 3 decades. And then Mr. Ojuri here is a friend of Jim Peterson. A lot of people know Jim Peterson at M&T Bank. He wasn't able to make it today, and so he sent Mr. Ojuri in his stead. And Nicole Kirby, for you gentlemen who may not know, she is a PR extraordinaire, a PR maven, to say the least. So, Edzo, the question for you is, do we need to know anything about trust? I mean, and I say that because we're running across people, all of us have seen death over the past since the pandemic. People are dying. I know this one business, they thought the father was dying. They sold his business, and then all kinds of hell broke loose. And then he resurrected, came back from the dead like Jesus. And now don't nobody know what's what and who's on first and who's on second. So any basics on how to protect ourselves before we pass this ball to Nicole Kirby and for her to tell us how to market ourselves?
My response is going to be somewhat similar to what Richard responded in terms of the political question. And this is a mistake a lot of people make. Yeah, I'm an attorney, but I don't know everything. I don't know every possible area in the law. I get a lot of people call me about the most minute, legal subjects and make the mistake and think because I'm an attorney, I have that expertise. My expertise is in trademarks, business, entertainment, and government contracting. Estate planning and estate issues are not in my wheelhouse. I could entertain a broad-based discussion with a client, but again, I would recommend that they do their homework and find a good estate attorney in their area.
How do you find a good one? Because I don't know anything about finding a good attorney.
I'm going to tell you what I would use as my starting point. Because another thing that I get people out of state, former college, friends call me up that live in other states. Martindale Hubble is the legal search site where you can locate a good attorney anywhere. And it's good because you can, for instance, you just asked about estates or estate planning or trust. You can go in there and look up Baltimore and put in what focus area you want to focus on, trust, and it'll kick out a number of attorneys, and you'll see their backgrounds, what other people have rated them at, their telephone number, their contact information. And I would encourage anybody, regardless of what area you're looking for an attorney, if you don't have a referral from somebody that you know and is reliable, because again, every attorney is not an expert on everything. You go in there and interview at least 3 attorneys, trust attorneys. And if you're not satisfied with those 3, then you go on from there. The other thing is you try to see how much they're going to charge you to have just a brief discussion. Some attorneys, try to hit people with pretty exorbitant fees on the front end, whereas others may give you a free intro and at least give you the lay of the land before you dig into your pocket. So again, like everything else we're talking about, do your homework.
So that's the website for Martindale Hubble, and I appreciate it. I'd have to put a plug in for Keisha Brown. She has the Justice Connection. Do you know Keisha Brown, Edsel?
No, I don't.
Well, I have to make it her business. And okay, there's so much I want to talk about, but we all need each other. So however we can help each other, I make a pact that if I can help you, I will. And if I can do it for nothing, I will, because there are times when we need that service back. But if you can help me get a pack of oodles and noodles, I'm not going to turn down the oodles and noodles. I don't eat them, but I will save them for a rainy day. Okay. Without further ado, we have the one and only Nicole Kirby. Now, you gentlemen, y'all are real smart, but she's cute. So I mean, I just don't, y'all just got Trump. What's up, Nicole?
Good morning. How are you?
We're good. We're here. See, you're the icing on the cake. We got
I see.
Yeah.
I love being on a panel full of men. I can handle it. Thank you for the invite. Yes.
No question. Now, tell them who you are, Nicole.
Nicole Kirby, born and raised in Washington, D.C., migrated over to Baltimore for a few years, moved back to Prince George's County. And now I circle the DMV, doing strategy in the comms. And so we say communications when you get to a certain level and you have to incorporate everything into your stable of work. So it's public relations, it's media relations, it's crises, it's strategy, it's branding, it's promotions, it's marketing.
Did you advise the people who came up with Olivia Pope on what she needed to do?
Well, the interesting thing is the real Olivia Pope, many people didn't know of her. And that means you're good. Because if everyone knows who's in your stable handling your crises, there's a problem with the person who's your PR, your publicist. Because your publicist should be in the back of the room, eyeballing everything, not in the front, trying to get on the camera. Okay, so that's rule number 1. And that's old school. And I abide by the old school rules. I stay in the back corner. No one knows I'm there, but I'm there.
And she sounded like Stanley Tucker. She know everything. I don't know if you caught the show, but Stanley Tucker, he runs Meridian Management Group, and he's just not going to lend you $200,000. He wants to know everything about you.
Very smart, very smart. And, I have to piggyback on what Richard said when I jumped on the platform. And in this day and age where you can spend your dollar anywhere, you've got to be available to the people who you serve. They don't want a 1-800 number. I will spend money up and above what is the regular fee because I want to be able to have good service, a good product, but I want to be able to speak to someone and know that it may be a 2-minute call, but you're going to pick up, you're going to answer, you're going to get back to me. So that's the first thing that's most important. So in this new year, when everyone's trying to, get in the bag and make their coins, if you didn't do strategy, if you don't have a good product or good service, And that is picking up your phone, being available. Go ahead and call this fundraising. Call it fun because you're not in business. So that's the main thing that I tell people when you're talking about PR strategy. You can't tell a story about yourself if your story's not good. Don't put yourself out there if you know that people will come back and, excuse the phrase, but come back and bite you in the butt because you don't have sound business practices. So when a person calls me and they say, Nicole, I want to do a PR campaign, I said, great, wonderful. Let's sit down and meet. And the one thing I want to know, show me your product. Let me taste it. Let me smell it. Let me touch it. Let me see what you did last year. Let me see what you did 2 years ago. Okay. If we can check the box on all of those things, now you're ready to have a PR campaign. If you're not ready for a campaign, that's fine. But let's go ahead and start doing what they call strategy. How do we tweak some things? How do we do some things? And strategy is not one day. It's not 2 days. It's not 6 months. It's 9 months of doing something right over, over, and over. You want to prove yourself. Now let's tell your story. And so oftentimes I'm called in to work with a company for long-term strategies. They may have a PR department, but they want another set of independent eyes, ears to come in and tell them how to navigate whatever that campaign may be. And so the most important thing that I tell businesses, particularly minority businesses, you've got to do it right. You got one shot. And that comes, I've fired attorneys because they didn't return my call because my time is busy. And when I call you, I'm not calling to talk about the weather. I'm not calling to talk about what happened on Bravo the night before. We want to do business, so do it well. So that is PR. You don't have to have a press release go out to be telling your story. You do it well every single day, consistently. That's your PR. So that's what I want to share with businesses. If you're not doing it right, please don't say you want to get out there and start, creating a campaign that's branding and promotions. Be quiet and do it well. And then let's talk about scaling.
Nicole, what advice would you have for our Black women? Now, this panel is mostly men, but I have a daughter, and now I
Yes.
have two granddaughters. Edzo, I know, has two daughters. And we, as fathers, come to realize how this world caters to males, or how we socialize boys differently than girls. Any advice on helping us help our daughters? Richard, you got a daughter?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, little boy, you can give him a toy and put him in the corner, and he's good for 8 hours. A little girl, she wants everything, everything, everything. Okay. So how do we encourage and lift up our daughters, Nicole, so that they can be strong, articulate, not shy, and I don't mean mean, but assertive. When I look at Dr. Bro, I look at that lady that was running Harvard, Dr. Gay, or you look at Kamala. These somewhere along the line, these women had to be lifted up and empowered to know that their voice matters.
Well, first of all, for any men who are raising women, young girls, into strong women, and we are saying strong because there's a narrative that Black women can have a chip on their shoulders. Those are women that may be broken or dealing with issues. But I think inherently in our DNA, Black women are strong. Okay. So if you're crafted and groomed in your home to know how to navigate your own DNA that's inherently strong, then that is one thing that's going to allow you to go to the next level. I was groomed that way, so I got more strong than a whole lot of men. And not to say that men aren't strong, but
Oh, we got some proof butts, especially in this city. Let me tell you.
but I'm very what they call alpha male. But that's because I've been put in situations where I have to speak up for my client or I have to deal with situations. But it's known in the US of A and internationally that Black women, they can move the narrative and the needle in politics and everything else. Activism, they move communities states, programs, initiatives get the word out. And so it may be something that's going on if you say that a whole lot of women into real estate, because now that's the first wave. The next wave may be development, construction, building. So I'm loving hearing that there's a huge role in women going into real estate. Great. Go for it, because now they from real estate they move into mortgage banking, to mortgage lending, to buying property. So that's great. But to train up a woman, just support her, hear her. And for those women who are matriculating through spaces that are not safe, those are the ones that need help. But for those who are in safe places, continue to nourish them and help them. I'm married. My husband knows that during the day, from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., depending on what side of the table you're on, we've got issues. But when I come home at night, I'm just a simple old girl. I'm a round the way girl, hair pulled back, got my sweats on. That's it. So for women who are trying to navigate who they are, be you, step into who you are and your power, because our communities need you. And quite frankly, the world needs you. And that is my PSA.
Okay. Ezra, I want to get to you. What do you tell your daughters? What did you tell your daughters for them to be able to navigate to where they are today? Because you're the expert here.
I'll just say that I have a very good and strong family, and we're all very close. And you know, my mother, my wife's mother, were good role models. And in addition to that, I always try to speak to them similar to what Nicole is saying: is don't let anybody ever hold you back. You always do you. And I've put that in their head from when they were very young. And as I said, they both grown. I'm very happy to be very successful young ladies, and they both have that entrepreneurial spirit. And I've seen how they had confidence in the first place, and like any entrepreneur, they were a little reluctant when they got started, but once they're in there, hey, they can teach me now.
Ken, you want to touch this at all? The significance of having family support. How many of us have been in business, Nicole, and the person right beside us? I've experienced that where you expected some people to support you, and you get more damn support from a total stranger on the MTA bus.
Mm-hmm.
I've been people in your own damn family.
I've been lucky that I got a lot. Look, man, Donnie, I've been lucky. I got a lot of support from my family when I started my practice, from friends and relatives like yourself, from friends like yourself. But just to say real quick about family, I always told my daughter, and I've also told my son, that they are overcomers, that they are more than conquerors, that they can do all things through Christ who strengthens them. And they both follow their mom in education, and are teachers and are doing well. But hopefully they've carried that in their hearts as they have navigated these mean streets of Baltimore. So I agree with your guests wholeheartedly.
Richard, I see you agreeing. You want to chime in?
Well, I don't have any children or anything like that, but one thing I will say is I do have a full village behind me, my family. Me being Nigerian and everything, we take family to the upstream most, put family first. First God, then second is family. We don't treat our family like, man, if it wasn't for my family, I don't know where I'd be. So I'm a huge advocate of family.
Richard, you've been to Nigeria.
100%, yeah.
Now, a lot of us Black folk here in the United States, we have not been to Africa. We've been disconnected from our roots. One thing I love about Nigeria is the family aspect. 200 million people. That's a lot of people, man. That's like half the number of people in the United States. 200 million people, several different tribes. What would you encourage us to know about the opportunities here in America. Because when I look around my community, I think a lot of people, a lot of black people, a lot of us don't realize the opportunities that are here. We don't realize that like in Nigeria, you have to pay to go to school. What we get for free in other places, you have to pay. Or a lot of people, we complain about the Mexicans, the Central Americans, the South Americans coming across the border. Oh, they're going to take my jobs. Hold up, homie. You don't even want to work. Oh, don't laugh at my accent. Okay, this is my West African accent. Oh, my goodness. But there are other people that don't even want to work. And we complain. But we in the land of milk and honey. We have opportunities. People would die to be in our shoes. Or you look at the people in Sudan, and they're running from war, running from slavery. Give us an international perspective on how of the opportunities right here in the United States, USA.
Yeah, I mean, I think first thing first is we actually, well, in the state of Maryland, man, we actually do a pretty good job compared to other states and actually being a voice for our entrepreneurs, whether people want to believe it or not. In the state of Maryland, there's a lot of resources handed to you. So if you want to be a business owner, that's number one. Number two is, even though a lot of people may not understand it, but Section 8 is a blessing, in some kind of instance. What I mean by that is we have a government that gives people money in a sense for people that, they can't afford X, Y, and Z. It's not the same in other places, If you don't have money, you're on your own, you better pray. Just like I said, God comes first. You better pray if something comes through. That's number two. And number three is we have like relationships here, man. It goes a long way, man. Like I wish it would be more togetherness within our people. It hurts my heart whenever I see blacks on blacks, attacking each other. It really breaks my heart because like if we have the knowledge, the talent that to really take over everywhere, man. Like I would be surprised by so many people that I meet that's an entrepreneur now that didn't go to college, they don't have the education that I have, but they are smarter than me, man. Like life done made them smarter than me, that they done been through way more than me. And just because I have a degree or something doesn't mean I'm smarter than anybody. It just means I was fortunate enough to go through 4 years of college and get a piece of paper that can certify that I can sit through 4 years and learn. That's all that paper really, really means. And then secondly, I think we have to stop letting people cry so much. I know here it's like a lot of people cry about everything here, man. I grew up, first of all, I played college football too. And my coach didn't even allow us to cry over anything. And it was just tough love all the time. Like my coach will always say, this is no offense to lawyers, but he will always say, I don't have any lawyers on my team. Meaning, hey, if something happens, don't cry to me. Yeah, you're not a lawyer. You don't gotta cry or plead your case to me. You better go out there and work. So that, because let me tell you something, if you're doing good, ain't nobody gonna come to you and tell you something bad. If you're doing good, there's not too much people can say. Let your results speak, And then honestly, America we have the best chances over here to make money, man. I don't care what nobody says in America. If you really want to make money, there's a way to make money out here.
I want to make money.
Like there's a way, I have cousins all across the world. I have cousins, of course, Nigeria. I have cousins in the UK, cousins in Germany, Italy. And one thing that's the same with everybody is once you graduate and you have a degree or whatever, even if you don't want to get a degree, there's more easier to get a job here than it is in other places, in other countries. It really is. People want to talk bad about working at McDonald's or somewhere else, but let me tell you something, that's a job. People support their families through that job, so I want everyone to be very humble about that. Like people talk bad about jobs, but that's a job to many people that, that's the way that people pay their bills. And that's all you need, honestly, is a way to pay your bills and live day to day.
McDonald's, huh? McDonald's is your kind of place. They feed you happy place. Hamburgers up your nose, French fries between your toes. And if you ever go there, they're still your underwear. McDonald's is your kind of place. Okay, Enzo, let's get your summary wrap up, and then we're going to get on up out of here. Then we come to Ken. Then we go to Richard. And Nicole, you're going to be the cleanup. You're going to put all of this together for us so we can inspire our entrepreneurs in 2024. This is the Business Triage Show. Let's go, Edsel.
All right. It's a pleasure
and
being
do plug your business with your contact information.
Excuse me. It's been a pleasure being on here with your show and your other guests. I think it's provided an excellent platform for either a current entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur to kind of get their feet wet or to learn some things that they need to do if they're already in business. What I would say is one link I like to throw out there for everybody is Maryland Business Express. There's a lot of information in there outside of even retaining a professional. So you can get some basic information before you even go talk to a professional. Because one thing I will say, the professional has the expertise, but you still want to be in the ballpark. With any professional that you have, don't put everything in that professional's lap. You want to at least be in the ballpark with whatever you're going to be discussing about with your professional. And I focus on the legal side of things. On the front end of your business, you definitely need an attorney. You need to understand the legal framework you're working in. You want to make sure you get into the appropriate type of legal structure, whether it's well, obviously, if you start as a sole proprietorship, partnership, LLC, Schedule C, or regular corporation, you need to talk to somebody about doing that. And I would encourage you to talk to an attorney. I mean, a CPA can help you out as well. You definitely want to retain an accountant because you're going to be making money. You want to know how to put things together. If you have an accounting background, that speaks for itself. But if you don't, you want to have all these things in place so that once that business starts and your head is spinning like a top, you're trying to be everything to everybody, like the old Lucy show when she's trying to put the pies going down the conveyor belt. That's just what it's going to be like. We can laugh, but that's exactly what it can be like. And the sad thing is, if you don't get things in order, your success could be the worst thing that can happen to you because you become so busy that you leave so many holes and things that you need to do that eventually it's going to take you down. So do it right on the front end of things. In terms of myself, my law office is based in Washington, D.C. I'm on K Street.
K Street, you rich.
I wish. My telephone number is 202-329-1520, and the address is 1629 K Street. But again, if you're looking for an attorney, once again, obviously I'm going to pitch myself, but look at Martindale Hubble. And if you're in a location that's not near DC or you want to look in a different subject area, like we talked about earlier, estate planning or something else, you can find an attorney. But again, at least interview 3 of them. Thank you.
Oh, you've got to plug the Southern Maryland Minority Chamber.
Okay. How could I forget that? Yes, the Southern Maryland Chamber of Commerce serves Calvert, Charles, and St. Mary's, as well as Southern Prince George's counties. We try to be an advocate organization for Southern Maryland. One thing about some of the counties down in Southern Maryland, they're not quite as diverse as, say, Charles and some of the other counties.
Oh, you got some good old boys down there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, being a Jersey guy, it's been challenging. But, it's not just only business, it's advocacy and working with our legislators and also working with our civil rights organizations. I mean, as you know, I'm heavily involved, well, not quite as involved as I used to be. I used to be the chair of economic development for the Maryland State NAACP. But, we all work together and one hand washes the other. There's an issue in Charles or St. Mary's and, one of the other organizations, we work together to make things better in that particular county. So business and civil rights mix heavily down here.
Now we should also note that Charles County is where a lot of Prince Georgians are moving to.
Oh, yeah. Charles County is happening. They're booming.
Okay. All right.
And
Ken Morris.
the other 2 counties are kind of the opposite of Charles County. They're like polar opposites. Wow. Charles is very diverse. Calvert and St. Mary's are not diverse. I live in Calvert County. We don't have one African-American in any, well, I take that back, in any Calvert-oriented, none of the commissioners are African-American. we do have a delegate and a senator. But the point I want to make is it's the exact opposite of what you have in Baltimore, what's in Charles County, and it's an exact same thing down in St. Mary's County. So that's why I said, when you're starting your business, you want to get involved with some of the advocacy organizations as well, because they go hand in hand.
Okay, and on that note, again, I just want to acknowledge Doris Kamenek Spencer. She is the boss. She's been a leader and a go-to person for BeMoreNews.com for years. And Edzo, we thank God that you are there to pick up the mantle. It is so important to pass the ball while we're still alive. Some of these people, they want to die in office. They want to never pass the damn ball. Pass the damn ball, black people.
I just want to say this. We lovingly refer to Doris as the Queen Bee.
No question. She gangster. Okay, Ken Morris, come on to the forefront. Let's get your spiel.
Thank you, Donnie. Hey, I want to thank you again for inviting me to be on. It's great to be on with you, Donnie, and with your guests tonight. I've learned a lot. It's reinforcement for me to hear your guests speak their truths. So I'm glad to be here with you all today. If I could share a quick, not a quote, but some percentages with you, just to let your listening audiences know that personal income taxes are 42% of the total gross income here in the United States. So I would encourage your listening audience to file early and often. That 42% of income that comes into the federal government is used to pay the salaries of teachers and firefighters and police.
How come Donald Trump ain't got to pay him? All right, I digress. My bad.
Yes.
So yeah, I pick up this. There's a chart that comes out every year in the tax guide, and I look at that chart every year as I prepare myself for tax season to remind myself why we're doing this. The income taxes that we all pay really do go for good sources and help to produce our economy. So I would encourage your listeners to file early and often. Let me give you my phone number real quick. Again, my name is Kenneth Morris. I'm a local CPA.
I don't want to file early and often. I don't want to file at all. Well, you keep saying early and often.
I know, but you need to know that your tax dollars are being used for good reasons, for good sources. Teachers' salaries, firefighters' salaries, the street paving, sidewalks is where these dollars go. They don't all go to Donald Trump or to Joe Biden's pockets. Some of it does, but a lot of it goes towards resources, not-for-profit organizations that are helpful here in Baltimore, across the state, and across the country. So as painful as it is, I would encourage you all on the panel today and all those listening to file early and to file often. If I can be of help real quick, my phone number is 410-664-6100. That's a landline, also a text line. So if I can be of help, feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Damn, you sound like the Undertaker, man. I don't even know if I want to call you now. Okay. All right, Richard O'Jury.
Hey guys, thank you again for inviting me today to talk. I love the conversations that we had. A lot of knowledge being shared. Also, that's a question for me. Where can I find this? I'd love to send this to a couple of my clients also, so they can, listen in on some of the tips that were dropped and etc. That's one of my questions. And secondly, I don't have a big spill. As you guys know, I work for MSC Bank. I'm a business banker. I'm here to help you guys, help business owners achieve what they need to achieve to get their business to the next level within banking services. I'm not an accountant, so I can't tell you guys anything about accounting. You just heard Mr. Kenneth Morris talk about accounting, so go talk to him. That's one thing all my clients come to me for, accounting tips. I don't know anything about it. I tell them all the time, don't know about accounting. I can tell you the broad over scheme, but I can't tell you details to help your business. And I'm just a truth maker over here also. But to get in contact with me, my number is 443-534-8283. And my email address is the letter of my first name, R, and my last name, OJURI, @mtb.com. And that's how you can reach me. Call, text me away, email me, and I'll be sure to get back to you.
Richard, we appreciate you. Okay, Nicole, it's time to shine.
Let's close it out. This has been a great show. To all of your viewers that have had an opportunity to take a look at this, share this with everyone in your business circle. These experts, Donnie, that you've had on this platform throughout so many nuggets, real gems that will allow you to make sure that when you feel that in your business that you may be getting off the main course, this puts you back on the main course to let you know, keep the main thing. Your attorney, your CPA, talking with your banker. If you're in business, you should have these people's number on speed dial. And you're talking with them not quarterly, but weekly, if possible, just to ask questions, because they are your resources to help you grow and keep your business. If you're in business, you work too hard, you work too long, you give up a lot of things. Keep your money in your pocket, build a legacy for yourself, create your narrative the right way, and make 224 a strong year so that you know that you'll have something to give to your grandchildren's grandchildren.
I got
Happy
a
New
question
Year.
for you.
Yes.
Can you share one success story?
From a client? With regards to a client, Donnie, I don't want to be braggadocious, but everyone that I work with has successful nuggets, because the issue is getting in and doing business and doing it the right way. So whether or not it's sending out a press release or making a phone call and getting something done, that's successful.
Oh,
But
you
I'm
being shot. You are pushing. You being
a
shot.
lot of it, I don't want to put any of my clients on Front Street, but I work with politicians. I work with private
You are pushing
corporations.
a black medical school right now. Did
Yes,
y'all
that is
know?
true.
Did y'all
That
know
is
we got a black medical school coming to Baltimore?
Yes. So yes, the Maryland School of Osteopathic Medicine at Morgan State University is one of my clients. I handle the comms for them. And so they're going through their accreditation process. It is a long, arduous process. But in this field that I do, so yes, I do PR, but I'm also working with other HBCUs across the country doing something what they call articulation pathway agreements. So I'm putting that together so that other universities will know, how can we work with this one school? So if I'm in Florida and I'm in science, or I'm an engineer, let us work with you so you may be able to matriculate and move into the medical field, because we need more Black doctors. So yes, that is one of my clients, and that's all I can say about them, and that has been in the news. But speaking to, when you call a PR person, you have to understand, how can you use their resources and what they do at best. So I'm great with getting on the phone, and someone may tell me they're busy, but tomorrow they're not, because they know how important this phone call is. So when you're working with the professionals that's going to help you grow your business, really vet them and see how best can you utilize them, if you like them, and then you move forward.
How can people reach you, Nicole Kirby?
Nicole Kirby, Carver Communications. This is my personal cell, 301-440-6542.
Oh, slow down. Say it again.
301-440-6542. I said that real fast, Mr. Glover. Or you can go to my website, reach me through my website as well, therealcarver.com.
The real Carver. Hold up. Is there a not real Carver?
Just in case there was any doubts, the real Carver, CARVER.com. And you will always see me all around town.
I am proud of all of you. Thank you for pouring into our small business community. Ken, Edsel, Richard, pleasure to meet you for the first time, Richard. Nicole, as always, you can count on me. And we wish you a very successful 2024.
Thank you, Donnie.
Thank you. Good morning, world.
Good morning. Bye-bye.